So hello, good morning, everyone, and welcome to our Navigating the Local Stock Market, a beginner's guide to investing with the Trinidad and Tobago Stock Exchange and the JMMB Securities Trinidad and Tobago Limited. Are you ready to take control of your financial future? Our webinar on Navigating the Local Stock Market is the perfect place to start. I would like to introduce you to our team this morning. We have from the JMMB Securities Trinidad and Tobago Limited, we have Anjani Suku. She is the Manager of Retail Services. We also have with us David Paul, Senior Investor Analyst, and Charles Parali, Investment Analyst. We also have from the Trinidad and Tobago Stock Exchange Limited, Kiyomi Joseph. She's Marketing Operations Officer. And myself, Tisha Marie Millington Bihari, the TTCD of Manager of Operations. I would like to now introduce you to Kiyomi Joseph, who will take us through what the Trinidad and Tobago Stock Exchange is all about and how we can benefit from investments.
Hi, good morning, good day, everyone. My name is Kiyomi Joseph, and I will be presenting, representing, the TTSE for this webinar. So welcome and thank you for joining us today. So as new investors or persons interested in investing in the local stock market, it is important to understand the basics of investing in the stock market so that you can make informed decisions. So one of the aims we have today is to cover some key concepts that will help you navigate the local stock market and as such have a clearer understanding and feel more encouraged to invest over the TTSE. So who are we? The TTSE provides an avenue for companies to raise capital and also facilitates the trading of securities between investors. We are a self-regulatory organization, which we call SRO, which means that we are a non-governmental organization that exercises some degree of authority. We set and enforce rules and standards related to the conduct of members in the industry. That is the listed companies and the brokerage firms registered to trade over the TTSE. It should be noted that we are in turn regulated by the Trinidad and Tobago Securities and Exchange Commission, the TTSEC, which regulates not only the stock exchange, but other market actors. For instance, the brokers, dealers, investment advisors, and they ensure that we all are in compliance with the Securities Act. So the rules and guidelines that we enforce is aimed towards protecting investors and boosting market confidence by preventing market manipulation and fraud. Also, we cooperate with other regulatory bodies for capital market development. For example, we recently partnered with the Central Bank of Trinidad and Tobago and the Ministry of Finance in launching the SME Mentorship Program. So we have covered our core functions as a stock exchange and the role that we play as an SRO. So let's look at a brief history of the stock exchange and what we have to offer. So we formally opened in October of 1981, making us a 41-year-old organization. As at the 12th of May, our market cap is 129 billion TP and US 21 million in our USD equity market. We currently have 35 equity or mutual funds and 18 bonds listed, 3 corporate bonds to be specific and 15 government bonds, with a maturity ranging from 3 months to 15 years. We launched our online trading platform in 2020, which we call TUP, and our e-statement platform. Later on in the presentation, we will be going more in depth in the features investors enjoy using these platforms. As mentioned previously, we recently launched the SME Mentorship Program, which is one of the initiatives we employ to encourage more listings on the SME market. The program helps small and medium companies navigate the regulatory framework to ensure that they operate in compliance with the Securities Act. So there are 3 key market players of the TTSE. The listed companies are the companies whose shares are publicly trading on the exchange. Investors open their brokerage accounts, also called TTSE accounts, with a brokerage firm and place buy and sell orders for shares in the listed companies through their stockbrokers, who then execute the orders over the exchange. The investor then receives, so once the orders are filled, the investor receives the shares bought, or in the case of a sell, they will receive the cash from the sale. In the previous slide, I mentioned that the investor buys or sells shares in a listed company. Shares simply refer to the financial instrument that represents ownership in the company. They can be bought on the primary market or secondary market. In the primary market, companies issue new securities to the investing public in order to raise capital. They do this through public offerings, for example, the initial public offering and additional public offering, which we usually refer to as IPOs or APOs, or rights offerings. A recent example will be the First Citizens APO that was done last year. The secondary market, however, is where the TTSE or the stock exchange plays a bigger role, since it provides a platform where the trading in shares can occur. When the company does a public offering for the shares, it is subsequently listed on the exchange, where it can now be traded among investors. Of course, in the secondary market, the prices are determined by the demand and supply of the shares, whereas in the primary market, the price is determined by the company that's offering the security. Now we will speak further on the investment process. So here we provide a basic checklist for investors to help you in your investment decision. Representatives from the JMMB will provide or will go in depth on identifying on the first 3 items, which is identifying your investment objectives as well as knowing the risks involved. Lastly, they will also talk about the importance of diversifying your stock portfolio. So we, meaning the TTSE, will offer some ways in which investors can analyze all the listed companies, as well as continuously monitoring the market. So these are some of the brands that are listed on the exchange. You may see some that you are very familiar with. For all the Starbucks lovers, the ones who enjoy KFC every month and or so, the ones who do their grocery shopping at Massey, right? So we usually show this slide because we want to reiterate to potential investors that you guys purchase or participate in these companies on a monthly basis. So why not become part owner of these same businesses and enjoy part of the profit? So once you have decided that investing over the exchange is what you want to do, one of the first steps is to get more information on the 8 brokerage firms to find out which one is more suitable for you. On our website, you can access the contact information for the brokerage firms by using the member firms tab on our website. And from there, you can navigate using you can navigate and get contact information to find out more information. So we've tried to make it as easily accessible for you as we can. Your stockbroker, they can provide the financial advice, they can recommend shares to be bought or sold. And of course, one of the ways in which you can execute your buy or sell orders is by contacting your stockbroker, whether you call or email. So some more information on how the market works itself. So our trading days are Monday to Friday, except on public holidays and of course Carnival Monday and Tuesday. We have, you can say, 3 states of the market. We have pre-open hours where orders can be entered and will be queued, but it will not be traded, right? So it will just be queued onto the market depth, and this occurs from 8 a.m. to 9:30 a.m. Then the market opens where you can continue to place your orders, and it will also, and orders will be matching, right? Live, it will be matching from 9:30 a.m. to 12 p.m. And of course, it's closed from 12 p.m. to 8 a.m., where trading is not allowed. We also have a queue priority, and this just simply tells us the order in which the orders are queued onto the market. So first it's queued based off of price, then it looks at account category, and finally the time in which the order was placed or entered into the system. Remember that one of the items on the investment checklist is to monitor the market continuously. You can do this by visiting our website, where we provide comprehensive market information. You can also subscribe to our mailing list in order to receive company news, market reports, and dividend notices directly to your email. Some of our brokerage firms also prepare reports and investment advice that will make it easier for you to make your investment decisions. So there are lots of sources in which you can access to find information before making any investment decision. We wanted to show some data that we hope will encourage you to invest over the exchange. These statistics show that, contrary to popular opinion, most activity on the exchange are done by individuals like you and me. As of April 2023, individual accounts make up 95% of the total TTSE accounts. And further to that, we noted that year to date, TTSE recorded over 16,000 trades, and 79% of those trades were executed by individual accounts. These statistics gives the perfect segue into telling you guys about our online trading platform, TOP, which makes trading more convenient for investors. So using our TTSE online platform, TOP, investors are allowed to enter orders directly to the TTSE trading system via the TOP platform. Orders are queued and will be executed based on the priority sequence mentioned previously of price, account category, and time. You will be able to buy and sell equities and mutual funds on the TOP platform. All that is required from you is to sign up. To sign up is a valid email address and an internet connection, of course. The creation of your TOP profile requires just 5 steps that can be completed in under 2 minutes. You do not need to have a brokerage account in order to sign up for TOP. Once you sign up, you can add your TTSE accounts to your TOP profile. If you have more than one TTSE account, you can add all of your accounts to your top profile so that you can monitor each account in one central location. If you do not have a TTSE account, you can request to open a brokerage account with the member firm of your choice to the top, and a representative will reach out to you in order to facilitate your request. Secondly, you can view the live market, providing a convenient way in which you can monitor the market. With your broker's approval, you can add and withdraw funds from your top account to suit your needs. Lastly, managing your portfolio is now easier since you can place orders with just a few clicks. You can place orders at any time, but just remember that trading only occurs between 9:30 a.m. to 12 p.m. So thank you for listening, and I will now pass you on to a representative from JMMB who will go further into the investment process.
Good morning. Thank you, Kaomi. Good morning, all again. So what we're going to do now is look at what is required to actually open a brokerage account for an individual. So for an individual, you would need to have one valid form of government issued picture ID. So that can be your passport or your national ID card. If you're using your driver's permit, what we would require is that be accompanied with your birth certificate, your electronic birth certificate. Then what we need from you is your proof of address, your proof of a residential address. That could come in the form of a utility bill in your name, or it can be your bank statement. If you are living at home with your parents, or you're renting, or the property is not in your name and you do not have a utility bill, that person or the owner of the utility bill can issue a letter authorizing you to use the bill, and they will also have to include one picture form of ID. So the person's name that is on the bill will also provide a picture ID. You can also, if you receive tax assessment from the BIR, you can also use that as proof of address for yourself. And then you need proof of income. You're employed, you may have your pay slip. If it's electronic, we can send it to us. It can be printed. And then there's also the job letter that can be used. Your job letter must be, however, addressed to JMMB or the specific broker of your choice. If you are retired and you're receiving NIS and it's automatically credited to your account, we can use your bank statement to verify that income source for you. If you're a student and you are of the age, you're at university, you're over 18 and you would like to open an account, then your parents or your guardian, your legal guardian, can issue a letter to us indicating that you receive a monthly allowance. And then we can use that as your source of income. If you're a non-national, so you're a foreigner, you're based in the Caribbean or another part of the world, and you want to open a brokerage account with us, the additional requirement would be a banker's reference letter. So whoever your main banker is will provide a reference letter for you. If you're unable to receive that, you can provide 6 months bank statement of the account that you maintain outside of Trinidad and Tobago. So that basically is requirements for an individual to open an account with us. So it's a simple process. At this point, I'm going to pass you over to my colleagues who will take you further into investing.
Hello, good morning, everyone. My name is David Paul, Portfolio Manager at JMMB Investments, and I have here with me as well to go through just some short tips about investing for new investors. I have my colleague with me, Charles Pirali, who is an equity trader also at JMMB Securities Limited. So what I want to do is I want to start off with just two broad options that are available to you as a new investor, right? The second option that I will put forward to you today is what we're really here to talk about. But it would be remiss of me not to mention the first option. So the first option as a new investor is you could get professional help. You could get professional advice to do the investing for you. Now you could do this in two ways. You could either have your advisor put together personalized portfolio for yourself, or you could just invest in a mutual fund. This option comes with fees, just a heads up, various management fees. The second option that you have, right, which is what we are really here to speak to you about today, is you can do it yourself, right? With this option, though, you would have to put aside the time and the effort to do your homework and find out which stocks that you probably should invest in, which stocks you should hold for the long term. Are there any short-term trading opportunities? You can do this all yourself, of course, with help from the various investment houses, whichever one that you choose. We would have seen all the investment houses in the slides before by one of the previous presenters, right? Now, I want to go through just 3 principles with you today, right? And if you take anything away from my presentation today, I would like that you take away these 3 principles. These principles are: start investing, continue investing, and stay invested, right? I'm going to say it again: start investing, continue investing, and stay investing, right? Now I'm going to go through these principles one by one. Now, you are all here in this webinar, which means that you are either interested in beginning your investment journey, you have already started, but you just want more information, or you just an interested onlooker, right? This principle is for the individuals here who want to start out, or those of you who are on the fence and kind of worried about, how to start and where to start, right? So the first thing I would say is it's never too early to start investing. The earlier you start, the greater your probability of building wealth, right? We have things like compound interest, building, just reinvesting and building wealth, and a range of things, because we know the equity markets is a daunting place. Sometimes prices go up and down, but the longer you are in the market, the greater your chances of building wealth, right? It is also never too late to start investing, right? If you are late to the game, let's say that you are close to retirement, there are still options out there for you, right? You may not want to expose yourself to too much equities, but as one of the previous presenters would have mentioned, the stock exchange also has bond or fixed income options available to you, right? And also all these member brokers, which would have been listed, and other investment houses, they also have bonds over the counter that you may have access to as well, right? If you are at that stage in your life, right? Investing isn't only for the wealthy, right? Over the years, the investment field, there's been a lot of strides made in the capital markets to make it more inclusive, right? One of the earlier presenters would have spoken about TOP, right? which basically puts the stock market at the tip of your fingers, right? Also, there are brokers in the market like ourselves at JMMB who have very low minimums, which will allow the regular man on the street to take part into the in the financial markets, right? So this is one of the key things that you have to note. Investing is not only for the wealthy. You can be an owner of a company. You can receive dividend payments periodically. Now, I tend to hear a lot, right? And especially with some of the listed companies on the exchange, how, the fees that these companies charge are too high, the prices of their product, they keep raising the prices of their products. But I just want you to know that you can benefit from all of that, right? By being a shareholder. So you spend money there, whether prices increase or not, and these companies make huge profits, you know that you stand to benefit from it as well through the periodical dividend payments, whether it's quarterly, semi-annually, annually, right? So you spend there, but you get your money back. You like Starbucks, you purchase Starbucks all the time. You could invest in a company like on the stock exchange like Prestige Holdings, right? You will receive dividends from Prestige Holdings. You bank with any of the banks listed on the stock exchange, right? You take loans there, you save your money there, you could receive dividends quarterly or semi-annually or annually from these companies, right? So we have to think about it like that. You can be an owner of a company because by purchasing shares on the stock exchange in any of the listed companies, you are in essence an owner, right? The second principle, continue investing, right? And I mean, if you listen to any of the very successful investors over the years, like let's say Warren Buffett, he always speaks to being disciplined, right? And discipline in the investing world is not only for the mega rich like Warren Buffett, it's for all of us, right? The man on the street as well. The key to creating wealth is consistency and discipline, right? There isn't any magic bullet. Investors aren't magicians, right? You as an investor, you set realistic goals for yourself and targets for yourselves. You create a plan, you have a budget. Let's say you say that based on the budget that you create, you could invest $1,000 a month, right? You stick to that plan and you invest on a periodic basis. You keep consistent, right? And that way you get to do things like averaging into the market, and you keep your investments growing, right? Now we live in the internet age, and we go on these online platforms all the time, and we see a lot of websites or people promising exorbitant returns, right? Easy money, they call it, right? That is not investing. What I will tell you is, if it seems too good to be true, then it probably is not true, right? So be wary of that. There isn't any magic bullet. The way to creating wealth is through consistency and discipline. You make a plan, you stick to that plan. If it's $1,000 every month, you stick to that plan, right? And then the final principle is to stay invested, right? Markets don't move in a straight line. They go through booms and busts, ups and downs. right? Once you invest in solid companies which can withstand down cycles, what history has taught us is that the market will reward patience, right? Because over the long term, most markets trend upwards, right? Although we have booms and busts in between, right? So if you are able to stay in the market for over a long period, and what I mean when I say stay in the market, I mean like keep your investments. Don't liquidate your investments because you see prices down in a particular month or in a particular year, right? Over the long term, gradually, if you invest in solid, good companies which are strong in their industry, you will reap the benefits over the long term. And further to that point, staying invested, right? We all went through the COVID-19 period. One important tool to consider when starting off investing in the stock market in particular is an emergency fund, right? You don't want to get into a situation where you have an emergency and then you are forced to liquidate your investments in the market before the set time that you wanted to hold that particular investment. That could set you back on your goals by years sometimes, right? Having an emergency fund not only protects you in terms of being able to meet emergencies, but it also protects your investment portfolio, right? We have some great financial advisors at JMMB. They would be happy to sit with you to work through building an emergency fund in terms of how much you need and where you should keep those funds, etc. And all of the other investment houses, to be frank, would have individuals there that would be willing to sit with you and have a conversation with you concerning that, right? And finally, we get these questions a lot, right? What stock should I be buying, right? And I mean, just to give you a brief summary, JMMB, as part of our account opening process, right? We allow clients the option to opt in to receiving our research, right? So this is one of the benefits of becoming a JMMB client. You get the option to be added on our research emails, where we extensively cover most of the names on the Trinidad and Tobago stock exchange, right? So you would be receiving our ratings on certain companies, whether it is a buy, hold, or sell, overweight, underweight, market weight, right? But just to run through some quick things that you should look at, because what I want to emphasize here is you can do it on your own as well, right? You have to be able to buy the right stocks. Now, the advice I tend to give to individuals just starting out is to buy the stocks of companies that you utilize their products, right? Buy the stocks of companies which you are passionate, which are in areas that you are passionate about, right? And buy the stocks of companies that you know, and you know these are solid companies, and you know that they will be there for the foreseeable future, right? Because the way you build wealth is to buy for the long term, right? So by doing that, by buying companies, by buying shares in companies that you know and you use, you have half of your job done there, right? Because you understand the company, you understand their position in their particular market, right? So the rest of it now is for you now to understand, are you buying that company at the right price? What is the right price for that company? And I mean, this is where JMMB can assist you as well, because we give these recommendations, right? Our research analysts inside of JMMB, they prepare their fancy models, whether it's free cash flow um, or or dividend discount models, or just a simple market multiple models, right? They prepare it and they make the estimates and stuff like that, and they give recommendations whether this is a good price to buy a particular stock. Because you can buy a good company at a bad price. And this is one thing that you need to go in to starting investment knowing. Good companies can be bought for at bad prices. So finding out what is if a company is trading at a good price or a bad price is important to you going forward, right? You can also do it on your own, right? The market multiples method is a very simple method that you could use to basically discern whether a company is overvalued or undervalued. You could do your little analysis as well. You don't have to rely on companies like JMMB, although we do the work, so it would make sense that you pay attention to it, but also do your own homework as well, right? A PE multiple is price divided by earnings. So you just take the price that the company is trading on the stock exchange, and you divide it by the last 12 months of earnings, and that will give you a multiple. You compare that to the market multiple or the industry multiple, and it will tell you whether, it will give you a good sense of whether. Now, there are other factors at play there, but that would just give you an initial understanding of whether, a particular stock is good value or not. So you can pay attention to reports, or do some of the background work yourself as well. And yes, I think that is it for me. I don't know, Charles, if you wanna add anything right now.
Yeah, not too much to add. It was a pretty comprehensive presentation. Just one thing I wanted to reiterate about the different kinds of participants we'd have. And if you're somebody that's looking into investing and you're kind of hesitant on if now is the right time to jump in or not, you could come to all the webinars that you want to, look at all the YouTube videos that there are out there. Some lessons in investing have to be experienced. They can't be learned. So maybe you don't want to jump 2 feet in to start off your experience. Maybe just want to dip a toe in, but really just opening the brokerage account, putting together a small portfolio just to get your feet wet and understanding how you might react to different situations of market volatility and gains and that sort of thing. Just getting a better understanding of yourself as you get started on this investing journey. That's about it from me.
Okay, thank you, David and Charles and Anjani. So I would just jump in quickly just to talk a little bit about the Trinidad and Tobago Central Depository and what exactly is it, and how our services can benefit to companies and investors. So the Trinidad and Tobago Central Depository, TTCD as we like to refer to it, is a wholly owned subsidiary of the Trinidad and Tobago Stock Exchange, and was essentially established to facilitate the safekeeping of securities and settlement of traded securities. We consist of 2 departments, which is the Central Securities Depository and the Registrar Services Department. The Central Securities Depositories, we do safekeeping services where, securities that are held in certificated or uncertificated forms, the settlement of trades, which would be equities, bonds, other transactional services that we render to our broker firms, and also execution of repurchase agreements and our Euroclear services. Under the Euroclear services, that facility is more involves the securities that are international, that involves international assets and allows for the investor to own these international assets and have these assets custody by a local custodian, and TTCD would be that local custodian. Moving along, the dematerialization. I know a lot of, if a lot of viewers have been looking at our website, you see we have been advertising a lot of try to convert your certificates to a dematerialization concept, and essentially that concept just involves the conversion of your physical certificate that you have and converting it to an electronic format to overcome any sort of risk associated with keeping a physical copies. And that is something that is done, and one of the key requirements is to open a brokerage account. And I know both TTSE Kiyomi and the JMMB group would have actually touched a lot on the need to open a brokerage account. When we do open the brokerage account, we also encourage you for payment of dividends to have your information updated to reflect your banking account, so that it goes, your dividend payment, the treatment of your dividend payment goes directly into your banking account. We do know that some of the shareholders still receive check payments. I would encourage you to open a banking account, and if it is you do already have an existing brokerage account, update your mandate information accordingly, where the treatment of your dividend payments can go directly into your banking account. Under the registrar services, we have a distinguished scope of services to companies exploring ways to raise capital. One would be execution of corporate events, which would include like bonus issues, rights issues, stock splits, etc. We also do registrar and paying agents for public and private issue bonds. We also extend services in terms of maintaining registers for the listed companies, updating of any sort of information relative to the shareholders, updating shareholders' records, just attending to queries, transfers, and transactional inquiries initiated by the shareholders. Once you have a brokerage account also, you can access our e-statement platform. It's a single login ID where once you go onto and you have an existing for the top platform, you can also use that same single login ID to access the e-statement platform. The registration process is pretty simple, and it's also on the website. It just follow the instructions where you create a profile, you can add your brokerage account, and it goes to the relative brokerage to be approved, and you can see your statements online in terms of all your securities that you own. It's very convenient. If you have multiple brokerage accounts with other broker firms, you can add your necessary account numbers under that platform, and you will, like I said, you'll see all your securities held by yourself. And also it's always available. It's as it is a secured website, and it's absolutely free. So you can visit our website. There is a generous amount of information that you can view. You can also contact us directly at ttse@stockx.co.tt. We are very much present on all the social media sites: Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn, Twitter. And of course, you could also reach out to us If it is that you need any additional information, we can provide any sort of clarification on anything. So at this point, we could probably answer a few questions. So I will go into the questions, and I guess JMMB, if you want to start off, or Kiyomi. Yeah.
Hi, yes. So Angie, again, I just wanted to answer one question, which was asked by many participants in terms of what is the minimum to open an account with JMMB. Our minimum right now is 2,500 TT. However, based on each individual circumstance, we can, of course, be flexible with that amount. We will be sharing, or it is on our website, the requirements to open an account for a company and an individual as well as credit unions. So that information can be sought from our website. And another question with regards to the bank reference, yes, it can be your local banker. If it's JMMB as well, yes, they can provide that reference letter for you. That is pretty much all right. On top, the fee is 1%. Your fee for top trading is 1%. The amount does not matter. It's an even 1%. And yes, you would need a broker for top trades. How it works basically is that if you have online banking, so let's say you deal with JMMB, you have a bank account with JMMB, you would remit the funds to your broker, JMMB Securities. Once we receive your funds, we will then do what you call a fund in to your brokerage account, which will then allow you to trade. So I believe that I answered a lot of the questions there. I'll now pass you over to either the team at TTSE or JMMB for additional questions to be answered.
Hi. So one of the questions asked was on the slide outlining the manner in which buy orders are queued and prioritized based off of price, account category, and time. Just wanted more information on that. So yes, so for example, taking an example with a buy order, say I place a buy order for $1 and someone comes in and places a buy order for $2. That person's order will be queued on top of mine on the market depth, right? Say in scenario 2, both person A and person B places an order for $1. The system then looks to look at the account category, right? And what we mean by account category is whether it's a client account or it's what we call a house account, meaning an account that is from one of the brokerage firms. And based off of that, of course, the client account is given priority over the house accounts. The last queue priority is time. So it comes down to the split second, right? Whether someone places an order 1 second before yours, if they place at the same price, what the system will look for is whether this order was placed 5 seconds before this one. Of course, the one that is placed 5 seconds before will be queued first, and the one that was placed 5 seconds later will be queued second. So that's how the queue priority works. So in other words, the system looks for, in orders that are placed, it looks to see what the price is, they look to see which account it comes from, which type of account it comes from, and lastly, the time at which it was entered in the system. And based off of that is how it will be ordered on the market depth.
Hi,
Okay.
just to answer, oh, sorry, David. Just to answer one, how do you follow up if you have not received your dividends? If you do have a brokerage account, we ask that you contact your respective broker. They can always pass on the information to us. If you are still in possession of a certificate, you can contact us directly, or you can email us at the TTSE at stockx.co.tt, and we'll follow up for you and give you the respective guidance forward.
Right. So I'm seeing a question here on what's the process for finding out the right price or bad price per share for any said company, apart from the brokerage companies. So now, as discussed earlier, there are simple methods that you can use. One of these methods are the multiples method, one of which is the price to earnings method, which is just simply calculating a PE, which is the price the stock is currently trading at, divided by the earnings. Now, the way that this method is used is that if, let's say, the price to earnings of the particular company is greater than that of the market, or if you use an industry, the industry price to earnings ratio, then you would initially conclude that it is overvalued. If the PE is less, then you could initially conclude that it is undervalued. If it's around the same thing, then you could see that it's market weight, meaning that it's around a fair price. But that is not the only consideration that you have to use when using these methods, because some companies are considered, let's say, growth companies, meaning that the market is expecting a particular company to grow at a much faster rate than the other companies in the in its industry. Hence, the market would assign a much higher price to earnings ratio for that particular stock versus the others in the industry. So this is when using that method, that simple method, you have to kind of be careful. That is why initially I would have stressed that you should invest in companies that right? If you know that the company is dominant in the particular industry, then you would kind of understand why. Okay, so I understand why this particular company is trading at a higher PE ratio. So it may still be good value. It's just that the expectation is that that company will grow much faster than the others in that particular industry. Charles, I don't know if you wanna take any of the others, or
Skimming through them now.
Hi, in the interim, can I take one? So there's a question: besides trading fee of 1%, what other fees can I look out for on top? There's no other fee, it's just that 1% fee.
Hey,
Charles, over to you.
before we go on to that one, we TTSE does have a fee of 0.21%. So one thing to mention is when you are placing your orders on top, there is a order summary where you can see the breakdown of fees that will be applied that you will have to pay for that particular order that you are placing.
Oh yeah. So I'm seeing one from Allison. If I invested $1,000 per month, how long will it be before I see returns, and what kind of returns can I expect? So because we're dealing with the stock market and it's a lot of future variables that you have to take into consideration, there's no kind of guarantee that anybody can expect. We don't have a crystal ball on how these companies are going to perform. The best we can do is look at history and how that can act as a proxy for what you might be able to expect going forward. So we've looked at the Trinidad Stock Exchange's performance over a number of years going back, and like to our surprise, actually, it's performed exceptionally well. We would have seen somewhere between, I think, 8 to 12% per year performance on the TT Stock Exchange when you take into account the price return as well as the dividends you would have received from your companies. A lot of the companies on the stock exchange are fairly mature. They pay what could be considered a healthy dividend. So that's something you can also take into consideration when you're investing and how you're planning out your investing journey going forward. I hope that helps.
Hi. So someone asked before in terms of they asked so, do you all have resources on how to analyze stock? So what the stock exchange provides is the data in which you can use to analyze the stock. We give historical data as well as data as of today. We do weekly, you can access weekly reports, quarterly reports, so on our website. As mentioned during our presentation as well, the different brokerage firms also provide reports in which they do analysis on based off of the performance of the stock exchange. So you can use those resources to assist. Someone also asked, what is the average cost per stock in a local company available for investment? What is the minimum and so on? So it ranges, the price ranges. So if you go on our website, you will see closing price as at today, right? You can see the closing price. It ranges from a little under one. It have stocks for under $1 versus there are stocks for over 100. So there are stocks available for your cost appetite.
Just one thing on that. We don't want to conflate price with value, right? And that is one thing a lot of investors do sometimes in terms of stock is trading at $1 and something cents, and they think that, that is a good buy because it's trading at $1 and something cents. There's a difference between price and value, right? A stock trading at $1 something could be overvalued, right? Versus a stock trading at $100 and something could be undervalued. I mean, a lot of the stocks listed on the stock exchange, they have varying amounts of issued shares to the market and stuff like that. So, I mean, I just don't want anyone to conflate the trading price with value and a stock being over or undervalued.
Thanks, David and team. I know we are running out of time. I know someone asked a question if there are any IPOs on the horizon. Well, this is dependent on the companies in questions if they are wishing to raise capital, additional capital. Just to note that the TTSE does provide the services to assist with the IPOs. My advice is to just keep your ears and eyes open in terms of that. Also, can you inform me if any major risk associated with investing? There's always risk associated with investing. However, the JMMB team, you can contact them. They would be able to do any sort of assessment in terms of how risk averse you are. They can provide some additional guidance. It has been proven that, it's a bit more secure in investing with the shares and stocks and bonds. There are other concepts that are now elevating itself that still has to be proven. So, we have Anjani, David, and Charles, I'm sure, who would be of assistance to have that conversation with you guys. So I know we are out of time. I'm not sure if JMMB would like to add or say anything at this point.
Yes, please. I'd just like to leave our email address so that we can be contacted. It's sales, SALESITT @jmmb.com, because I know some questions weren't answered and some participants would like to reach out to us. So that's salesitt @jmmb.com. Thanks.
Thanks, Anjani. And also, you can also email us at the TTSE at stockx.co.tt for any unanswered questions, and we will provide the same. So thank you very much, JMMB. Thanks, Kiyomi, and thanks to the participants who would have taken the time to to have this investor awareness session with you guys. Thanks a lot and enjoy the rest of your day.